Hey there, welcome. Today I wanted to talk about gurus or teachers, enlightened masters, Buddhas, yogis, and our sense of loneliness and separation in the world. And so, to make a long story short, enlightened masters who have achieved realization of conscious identification to the one self, to the one existence, to God or the universe, multiverse, to Buddha, to the empty void of infinity, they are timeless. Their consciousness isn't attached to the linear memory recording consciousness of our brain and sense data. Their consciousness is completely unified with just reality itself. And reality itself doesn't exist fully in time, which is hard to maybe understand. Maybe I'll go into detail about that in a different video. But that means they are eternal, they're beginningless, they're endless, and they're not even separate selves anymore. They are completely one with all of each other of all times. Every Buddha, every Deva or God, every achieved yogi of every dimension, every world, every timeline, every possible realm, they are one. And they are completely present with what is reality. And reality is never actually separate from itself. It is completely together. So our present consciousness, our awareness, our view, attention, our feeling, our sensation, everything that we call us is completely one with these yogis, with these Buddhas, with these masters. And we just need to sink into it. We just need to dissolve into it. We just need to not disbelieve it and not create limited viewpoints about it and just let it happen. And so this non-dual practice of what's often called guru yoga, sometimes even called deity yoga, can be called bhakti yoga in Hinduism, where you're devoted to a guru or a teacher or an achieved master. You break down your walls, and to not use metaphors, you just let reality be, which is you are already one with all these masters, and those masters aren't separate beings, they are completely united as well. And we can feel that. We can let that sustain in our current presence for eternity if we want, if we let it, if we choose to not react, not change it, not choose something different. And that's kind of a beautiful way to realize we're never alone. We're all one, but we're never alone. And I find that there's a lot of happiness, a lot of serenity when I'm realizing this oneness, because it's oneness not just with my friends and my family and the people of my city, with the environment and the plants and the bugs and the animals and wildlife. It's not even oneness just with physical things, objects and matter and air and rocks and sea. It is oneness with beings that have achieved boundless bliss and love and compassion and even power. They've achieved the truth of this infinite existence, and they're forever in that state. And we can be with them. And there is a bit of comparativeness, it's like comparing the ants to, Buddha. Really, they're equally amazing, they're equally infinite. But there is this, I guess, comfort that I achieve when realizing, like, I'm not just one with all these things I label, I'm also one with this conceptless, undescribable, boundless conscious entity that is all these great figures we give value to. And they're present, they're within me, they're in my cells, they're in the body, they're behind my eyes, in my brain and head, but they're also beyond any of those little categories I just listed. And that feels good. It just feels naturally good. There's definitely I'm creating that good feeling because it's like I'm associating with something I value, like a master or a yogi, but it's closer in a way to the natural bliss of existence than assuming separation, assuming I'm just some separate guy floating in a chaotic universe without any connection or meaning or purpose or what have you. And the way we do that is exceptionally easy. There isn't really a conceptual map to follow. In fact, it's better to just not do any conceptual train of thoughts. It's really just not doing things, and then we just rest there. So we don't try and, think about the future and plan stuff and argue in our heads and, judge other people and, believe this rolling ball of thoughts that creates all these categories and separate identities in our head. We just don't do that. So there's not anything you have to do guru yoga or do deity yoga. As a first step, it's just don't do anything else. And don't label the physical patterns as something else. So like breathing, sitting, walking, those aren't things. That's just movement of existence. But if our mind cannot move in all these little bubbles of attachments and labels, if we just don't do that, this limiting perspective creation and supporting limited viewpoints, if we refrain, what we have left is this connection to the masters, to the yogis, to the amazing, kind, and loving beings of present, future, and past of every universe. And it's quite liberating. And I'm on a part of the path where, I forget, I go about my day and I get distracted and, I bounce around doing irregular tendencies, regular shit that humans do. But this has been one comfort zone for me to keep clicking back into that love, into that awareness that is grace, that is compassion, that is kind of blissful, it's tranquil. It's a little undescribable. Because when we break down those walls, when we let go of believing in those walls, what's left is this open, grand, amazing ocean of love and life and consciousness. And it's always been that way, and it'll always be that way to some extent. Unlimited, boundless as the sky. So rest in that, rest in this. You're never alone. You're never separate from the most profound, kind, caring beings of all time, of all history. Thank you so much for watching. Om Sai Ram.